Hi, I'm Mick the gardener. Just want to tell you what I'm doing in the gardens this time of year. It's almost mid-October. We're well into autumn. So a lot of customers are asking me if they can put their garden to bed for the winter. And there's no problem with that. Even though it's a little bit early, there's no problem with that because most of your summer flowers have now finished. So it is time to start thinking about putting your garden to bed, and also with an eye on the spring. So we've been lucky so far, we haven't had any frosts at all. So the soil is still quite warm, which means it's the perfect time to get in your spring bulbs, your snowdrops, your daffs. So they need to be planted right now. The further we go into autumn and then winter, it's leaving it a bit too late. But if you can get those bulbs, and they're not expensive, and then you'll get your first dash of colour before the summer when they start coming up in the spring. But what else am I doing? Well, as usual, there's still many gardens that are overgrown, and that's the vast majority of my work. But when you think about putting a garden to bed, if you've got containers, you need to know which ones can stay out through the winter and which ones need to come inside. When you're thinking of other flowers, you're thinking of how can I protect them during the winter? Do I need to mulch them? Or mulch just generally means putting mulch, which could be anything, dried up leaves or whatever, around the roots of the plant or the bush that you want. It just gives it a little bit more protection from frost and from snow and from the cold. So you need to be doing that. Weeding can go on throughout the year, but now's a perfect time to do weeding because we've had quite a bit of rain and the soil's really soft, so the weeds come up a lot easier than they do in the summer, where perhaps the soil is really caked hard, almost like concrete sometimes if we have a really hot spell. But this time of year, obviously the leaves are starting to fall off, and so there's less foliage on the trees, on bushes and on hedges. And it's this time of year when you can actually trim and shape bushes and trim and shape hedges much better, because you're able to see what shape you're creating because there aren't so many leaves and there isn't so much foliage on the bushes and on the hedges. So now's a perfect time. And we're also looking at the lawns. Okay, so grass, like most of your flowers and shrubbery, will start to become dormant. In other words, there'll be far less growth. So we look towards the last mow of the year. I did a couple of lawns yesterday. First thing in the morning, they both got a lot of dew on it. And I allowed the sun and the wind 2-3 hours on that, and then I was able to mow it without damaging the mower, without damaging the grass. Because if you mow a lawn when it's too wet, it's hard work with the mower. You can damage the mower, but more importantly, you can damage the roots of the grass. You can also skim the tops of the lawns if it's not completely flat, and all you'll be left with is a mud patch. So now is the time when you're thinking, okay, can I get my last mowing? Ideally look for a dry day. You'll probably still get some dew in the morning from now on, but the last mow for a lot of gardens is coming up. So if you've got a garden that's overgrown and you want to put it to bed, then if you give me a call or text me or WhatsApp me, I'm happy to quote for you and happy to come round and have a look what needs doing. I would say the vast majority of gardens that are overgrown, I'm putting them to bed, and by the time I've finished doing all that, there's very little needs doing until the spring. So, you've got 5 months of, you don't really need to do much on the garden once I've put that garden to bed for you. So obviously my Facebook page is Mick the Gardener. My phone number is 07545 17 so you can text me, use Messenger. I'm on WhatsApp. If you're going to contact me on WhatsApp, ideal if you send me a little video of what you need to be done, or pictures, and I'll come right back to you. Traditionally, a lot of gardeners start to get less busy this time of year. I'm actually getting more busy, so I've taken on another member of staff, because there are still gardens that are still overgrown and need put into bed. And once I've done the garden, your garden can still be enjoyed in autumn and winter, but not if it's overgrown. So if you need help with your garden, then get in touch with me, Mick the Gardener, and I'm happy to come have a look and quote and get your garden sorted.